Greetings to you viewers from across the globe. I'm Odiawa AI for Veegil Media, and the show is Viewpoints, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue on important topical issues by sharing valuable views and opinions. On the show today, we will be talking about the rerun elections in 3 states. The political race now is ongoing, and as of last year, November 14th, 2022 to be specific, electoral umpire INEC actually announced the date for the elections, which is to take off on the 11th of next month, November 2023. And these states are Kogi, Imo and Bayelsa. What we will be looking at will be the candidates and the parties. What strongholds do the candidates or the political parties have in these states? And what kind of weights, what are these candidates able to deliver? And how experienced are they in politics? First off, to start with, we'll focus majorly on Kogi State. We'll be talking about Usman Ahmed Ododo of the APC, 45 years of age. Actually, he was the Auditor General to the former Kogi State or the incumbent Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello. And it will interest you to know that he was also actually the ADC, yes I mean, for the Kogi State governor. And the opposing faction, PDP, of course, we all know who he is, Dino Melaye, 49 years of age, a politician, senator, and former member of the Green Chamber, the House of Representatives of the National Assembly of the Kogi West Senatorial District. So we will begin to compare and contrast between these fellows. What might have they? What experience have they in politics? We want to believe that Usman Ahmed Ododo, on his own part, actually would therefore have gathered enough experience while serving his boss, Yahaya Bello, at least to know the ropes in the affairs of state gubernatorial activities while under his boss, Yahaya Bello. Coming over to Dino Melaye, he has also served at the national level as a legislator, or the federal level rather, as a legislator in the National Assembly. So coming down to actually serve as a gubernatorial candidate under the PDP, what he will have to offer, of course, we've seen on social media that he's quite much loved for, being renowned with his philanthropic lifestyle. We could also see that also on social media, evidently in all around Kogi State. I think maybe he would have a lot of, fans out there. Now, moving over to Imo State. Now, Imo State is quite interesting. Why? Because recently we've been seeing the attacks majorly by not just, will I say insurgents alone, but probably the secessionist movements they call the Biafra. Now, the activities that have actually been going on, how it has affected the economy, and particularly in the southeastern region, now majoring on Imo State now. We've seen all sorts of violence happening or taking place in the region. How well has the governor really swung into action concerning these unwholesome activities, not to mention the land grabbing? Will it make the electorate actually turn their attention to the Anyanwu Samuel faction, who is actually the flag bearer of the PDP, who actually took over from Emeka Ihedioha, who actually lost the lawsuit to Uzodinma in 2020, January 14 to be specific, when they nullified the election as at that time. Now, Anyanwu Samuel of the PDP, actually 57, quite younger than Hope Uzodinma, who is 64. We now begin to look at it, is it a case of, the intermediary running the political race in Imo State? Anyanwu Samuel, actually coming under the PDP, had served in the constituency of the Imo State 8th Assembly Senate. He declared himself to run for governor, but lost to Emeka Ihedioha in the primaries as at 2019. Anyanwu Samuel, in his pursuit of the golden fleece, actually, I want to believe, technocratically speaking, should have that experience when it comes to political administration in running the affairs of the states, being a one-time representative of the Imo State 8th Assembly in the Senate. Going over to Imo State, we have Timipriye Silva of the APC, 58 years of age. He served as Minister of the State for Petroleum Resources and a former governor of Bayelsa State as at 2007 to 2012. As we speak now, he's back again to contest, and this time his opposition is Diri Duye of PDP, who is actually 63 years of age. Another politician who is currently the incumbent governor of Bayelsa State. Now, in Bayelsa, we should look at it now. Do they stand a chance to lose the election, particularly the PDP, being the power of the APC, being the ruling party at the center, having its influence particularly in Imo State and Kogi State? Now, it's a question now. The question now is the dominance of the party. Will the influence of the federal level have its effect or impact on the state level? It's no news that people will begin to decamp at the end of the day and switch as to who and who should actually be in power. Now, the question is, what are their manifestos? I hope it will not be a case of bringing on board the usual provision of amenities, which they actually ought not to be bragging about, but actually address serious issues. Now, coming down to Imo State, the height of insecurity now is quite alarming. Now, under the previous administration, or the present administration rather, what structures have been put in place to actually checkmate all these lapses? From the sit-at-homes, which I want to believe that corrections are being on the way to put things in check. What of those who have lost their lives? Or maybe probably lost properties in the process? Are there still people there who will still sabotage the situation? These are things we should also look ahead of the election. How credible can the elections be, particularly from the part of INEC? Hope it won't be a case of getting late to polling units, or probably electoral devices, or election devices rather, giving or making up excuses to make it look as if electoral officials are not even efficient. And I hope it won't be a case of figures being manipulated or facts being falsified. I hope it won't be a case also that some regions will also be, or some polling units will also be affected by one form or sort of political thuggery or the other. It should also be a case of whereby the candidate who stands a better chance, upon coming on board, should make sure that he or she delivers the right manifesto and sticks to what the Electoral Act actually says. Electoral Act of 2022. Whereby in course of engaging your campaigns, or yes, in the primaries, up until when you're done with the primaries, now you're now the flag bearer of the political party. You don't go attacking in a debasing, derogatory manner, making slanderous statements, comments, and remarks to just dent the image of a particular candidate or aspirant. It should be that it should be a healthy competition. And even when the electoral results or election results have been announced, it should not be a case of election petition tribunals. And when you are dissatisfied with the verdict of the tribunal, you seek redress, also appeal in the higher court of appeal. Moving on, it should be a case of whereby candidates should not just look at themselves as the major political parties. Of course, we know the PDP and the APC are the dominant parties. Let it not look as if it's a two-party structure. We should also look at the other emerging party, the Labour Party. Not that there aren't other political parties, there are. Not that they are just male candidates, rather. They are also female candidates. But coming to the Labour Party, we have in Kogi, we have Okeme Adejo, who is also 40 years old. We have from Imo State, Achonu Neji at 64 too. Then we also have from Bayelsa, Eradiri Udemo Bofa at 41. It's quite, satisfactory based on observation that the youths are actually taking part in justifiable suffrage, coming out to actually showcase that they can exercise their right to vote and right to also not just vote, participate in the electoral process by campaigning and contesting, just to gain momentum. Now, if we notice very well now, it's not a case of where we have the gray heads, making sure that the younger ones don't have a right to participate. We could see the age brackets here. Things are changing in the political system. We also wait for the upcoming election in the following year, 2024, from Edo State, which is what most anticipated, the only election of the year.
Greetings, viewers from across the globe. You're welcome to the show Viewpoint.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Odiawa AI right here on Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. We're talking about the elections upcoming in November 11th of 2023, which was earlier on announced last year on the 14th of November 2022. The candidates from the political parties in which they are running the political race. We took time to analyze how credible the elections are to be, projecting them, hoping that there won't be any form of political thuggery. And the candidates will actually stick to the Electoral Act by not making all forms of derogatory or debasing statements, throwing them at each other. The ages also actually, we could see that at least there's a balance. The youth and the elderly and intermediary are also contesting. Now, also looking at how insecurity might not have its effect on the elections, or also on the image of the party or the individual who is actually running under this political party. Now, the question which we should now be asking ourselves now is the electorate. The ruling party now, upon assuming office, yanked off the fuel subsidy. Now, the fuel subsidy now has begun to dictate all forms of strife in every nook and cranny of the nation. Now, will it be a case of the ruling party losing these states to other parties, particularly the other dominant parties which are well known, for instance, the PDP and the Labour Party? Because evidently, the fuel subsidy removal, which has actually hindered this economy from maybe businesses or even homes. The question now is, will the electorate actually nosedive and actually key into the biddings and yearnings of the campaigns from the ruling party? Or will they actually turn their backs on them and go over to the PDP and the Labour Party? It is subsequently in the campaign period we will now know and see before the election day whether the APC is able to claim these states or whether the PDP is actually able to claim these states, likewise the Labour Party and any other political party on ground. Moving on, the candidates in question also, upon assuming office, even if they have lost the office, it shouldn't be a case of looking for how to act by robbing each other or washing each other's dirty linen in public. Particularly looking for how to verify whether a person did his NYSC or not, or whether a person served in a higher institution, or actually whether the person even wrote a WAEC or not. All this, as far as I'm concerned, in my own view or my own opinion, should actually be looked into. But if we should actually go into the INEC register on the list of candidates operating for or running for this political race, we will see that their status is being written down there. Not just their status also, Their means of certifications are also listed there. So I think now, before the election results are actually announced, investigations should be done. Not after the elections have been done with. You now start to look for how to contest the figures of the elections from each polling unit. Make sure you get your facts right from polling units to polling units. And even the electorate should actually come out to vote and vote wisely and not indulge in all sorts of election vices and malpractices. I draw the curtain on today's episode on Viewpoint. We will still continue with the election monitoring of Kogi State, Bayelsa State, and Imo State in subsequent episodes. I'm your host, Odiawa AI, for Veegil Media. Thanks for watching.